Hello. In this episode I only want to show the calculator script. That is just a simple version of the Windows calculator. It all started when I get a new laptop with Windows 10. The Windows 10 calculator can't edit the history that I am used to in Windows 8. So I take some hour and make this BLHTML calculator. I want to show the startup time. So if we see here, if I click this, you see that the startup time is more or less the same. And this is the calculator script, and this is how it looks like in the debug mode. And we can quit this, and if I press F6, this is the release mode. If we run it again, we can see that we have this welcome text, and then it's going back and get the first number of our history list. And if I press enter, I go to the history and I can choose a calculation. And if I press enter again, I take this and go up here, and I can edit this and press another number, and when I press enter, I get the result. And if we see here, when I press enter, if I press escape to erase that and press Ctrl C, I get the result, sorry, Ctrl V, I get the result of this equation. So I don't need, when I go here and have this and I press enter, I don't need to go and mark this Ctrl C. It is already in your memory. And if we see in the script, we can see here on create, here is going to put up our windows, and it start with one timer that is going to be called one time after 100 milliseconds, and it's going to update the window. And this is because if you run this program in Windows 10, it doesn't update. When you run it, it is somehow the Windows is bigger, but it is not the right size, and then it's going to be that the Windows is smaller than the size of the window. So in Windows 10 you need to have this extra line of code so it's working. And then we have this reset input that is going to last for 2 seconds. And if we go to this function, it's going to get the text from the input field, and if the version that we have up here, that is the text windows, if we run this, we can see that we have this for 2 seconds, and then it's going to take this first equation. And if we wait, we go back to if it's equal to, if version is equal to the text in here, if it's still, when this function is called after 2 seconds, if the input window have still the welcome text, then he's going to take the first in our list. He's going to set the text in the input field from the list box from the field 0, and then he's going to set the cursor in the end of the input field. And here we see it's going to load the configuration, the position, and the information from the ini file, and if we go to the ini file, we see here this is the history. We're going to load into the history field, and this is for the position and layout of the window. And if position of the console, this console here, is 0, then we're going to hide the console. So this script, actually, when we run this, we don't have a console. So this is the first script that try to hide the console. And then we put the icon in the top window, and this one is setting the output window to be full. So it put the windows to be, we don't see the code window anymore. And this file and index is these two. We hide those two, and you don't really need to do this when you are in release mode, but for in debug mode it could be good that you don't have it. We also put the status bar away, and here we put the mean size of the output window to 7070, and this we actually don't really need anymore, because we have down in the list we have set here this one actually set the mean size of the windows. This is the main windows that we set the mean size, so we don't really need that anymore, so I can actually remove it. And this clear the console, that we don't really need it, but don't hurt to have it still there. And then we have the input box that we have the ID 200, and here we put the version info that we set in the beginning of the script. We set this text to our input box that is going to last for 2 seconds, and then we set the cursor at the end of the input, and we set the font for the input box to consolas and font size 20. And this one is that we are setting the alignment of the normally in the input box you start writing on the left side, but because this calculator, if we look at the original one, we have it the number on the right side. And then it actually set focus, so when we start it's going to be focus on this. So we set the cursor at the last, and then we focus this window, and then we put up the splitter, and we actually have a splitter. We can see here it is, we can move this around, and we can move how we want this window to look like. The mean size that I have before, that was set to the windows, this is the mean size for the calculator. And this was the splitter, and it's on the output window, -1, and we put the mean sash position to 70. So this window here can only be 70 pixel wide, because if you really close it to 0, when we put the size out here, we're going to divide by 0, and then we're going to get error. In release mode we're not going to see the errors, but I don't feel that I want the errors even if you can see them. And this is the panel that hold the keys, and we don't really need this one also, because we set the windows sorry, this is the -2. This is for the real window. And here we have panel 5001. That is for the, we see here we put the list box in 5001, and here he actually put the splitter together, and this is the splitter ID, and this is the splitter ID for Windows 1 and Windows 2, and this is the position that this splitter is going to be. So if we put it like here, it's going to save this information when I quit the program, and then it's going to load that position here. And here we create the Lua history table, and then we're going to read in this in our ini file the history. So this is all the history field that we have in this list box, and here he going to read. So here he read the first one. If we go here, we can see we have, this is the first one, and then it's going to, in this case, 10. So he going in, and if this result of this is nil, it is not nil, this is not nil, then he's going inside and repeat this loop until the result of getting the information from the history value from this. So when he come here and read 10, he have a value, and when he go to 11 and 12 is no 12, so it's going to get a nil value when the n is 12, and then he's going to jump out. And here we see that he's going to add the value, and then he's going to insert this into the list box, and the list box index start with 0, so here is -1 to get the first value to 0. And here he actually, if we go to this function, he going to create the keys. So I put the key text in an array, and then we're going to get the width and height for the output window. This output window is this in window that we have here, so it's going to take the width and height for that, and it's going to start, if we see here, it's going to start a little bit down, and we can actually see here we have top value here, and if we go to create keys, we can actually put like that. It didn't make a big difference, but it is the top. He is going to put this area here in the height, and then he's going to ignore this area for the keys. So it's like he's going to start to make the keys, and then he's going to make the keys one by one. And the first one, we can see that this key is 2 key wide, so I do this key manually, and I put the button on our panel 5000, and here we see this is the information 1. So if we go here, we see that the first one in the index is 1, and we put the this is the x value, and this is the y value that is top, so we put it down to this, the first key. And then he's going to make the key, and from the beginning I was thinking that I wanted to walk around like this in the with the keys, and then I realized when I have this, if I I can't walk with the normal calculator, and I realized when I was doing this that when I'm here and I want to add a number, if I add 7 here, I can't see the cursor when I'm here. I still have an idea that I can put the computer is marking this key where you are, and when you start pressing the arrow key you can still walk in this area, and he put the focus always in the in this window, and then I can use the key. But I think this key is only that you can press. You should not leave the focus here. So we see if I'm ever going to make that update. And this is, we see here, it's the first row. It's the big button, and it's like 1, 2 and 3. So we have in the first one we have 3 buttons, and then we have 4 buttons 3 times, and it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40. That is actually 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to print out to here, and then I'm going to exit the loop. If n is 18, he's going to not print out this button that's supposed to be here, and then when he's done with this, he's going to create this double button. And when he's done with this create key, he's going to our on-win update and update the window. So more or less he create the key, and then he's going to just put the key on the same position, and it's just that when you every time we move little, he's going to call this on-win update and put the key in the new position and the key size. We can see that he's going to split the height in 5. So if we're going to see, it's like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to split this area in 5. So if I drag the, we can see that when with that calculation he is splitting the key, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for the width. So here we can see the width and height. And when he is closing the application, he going to call sys on close, and then he going to save the history to category history and put the name history. We see here history and the n value there. We see n value, and then he's going to get the information from the list box with the value and put it here. Very simple. And then he's going to save the splitter for this, and in this case we're not even going to use this console. We're only going to have this BLL.splitter that we're going to use. So but if you want to change the program and want to have this console for your calculation, I still have it here in the code. That is all about this calculator script. And I have before key for going between the history, but I changed it so you can press enter to toggle between the list and the input window. Thank you for watching. Bye.